Shalom, Yashrala. This is your brother Dawud Da, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, the bonds to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And citation, much love for Yakim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson real fast. Is dealing with, that great temptations coming upon the earth. All right, because, people are about to be forced to make a decision on how, they're going to so-called be able to buy and sell in these last days. You have like out in Iran that's posing a, what they call like basically a digital coupon or a digital voucher to be able to buy bread, and then also coming soon, other food commodities at a so-called discounted rate. We've been saying for a while that, hey, when, they start pushing the MOTB, it's going to be a scenario just like in Iran. It's not necessarily being forced upon you, but it's like, look at the conditions that you're in. And hey, guess what? If you want, reduced prices, you can go ahead and switch over to this here system. And hey, we'll even give you so many bonus credits for switching over, just like a lot of the deals you see here in America. Hey, switch over to our, phone carrier and make no payments until so on and so forth, and get a new iPhone for, $36, crazy shit like that. You already see the deals going down. And that people already be jumping for, So how much more when it comes to something that's a necessity like food? All right. You see that with a lot of, if you work in any type of retail and things like that long enough, you realize that some products, they come in and they'll just double the price on a product and always have it on half off. But the person coming to the store thinks that there's a sale that's going on. Oh shit, let me go ahead and buy this while I can. But you being the employee that's at the store, you see that item in there like, well, since it came in, it's always been that price, and we know that they doubled the price just to sell at this selling point. But hey, that's how they get these Americans with their witchcraft. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this here, a little bit of this here article. It says global food crisis, a result of policy mistakes by the U.S. and EU, Putin aide tells RT. And there's a reason I wanted to grab this, because they go into telling you about like, hey, this isn't just because of the conflict that's going on in the Ukraine, man. All right, this has been an ongoing thing. This has been a a plan that's been put in motion from before then. It says food prices were rising long before Russian military operation began in Ukraine, a senior Russian official said. The looming global food crisis that could result from skyrocketing food prices was enabled by a series of policy mistakes by Washington and Brussels. Maxim Orshkin, economic advisor to Russian President Vladimir Putin, told RT the conflict in the Ukraine alone could not have caused the crisis on such a massive scale, Orshkin said. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization International Food Price Index shows that between April 2020 and April 2022, global food prices rose by more than 60%. The increase occurred for the most part before February 2022, when Russia launched its military operation in Ukraine. All right. And, actually before then, you even had like, I always quote about, the gig-like economy when, Uber and things like that got onto the scene, because, these Uber and Lyft and things like that, basically they've had these types of jobs beforehand, but they, some of the younger generations wouldn't know what a damn taxi was. But, you had taxi drivers beforehand, but then we came into what they called a gig-like economy. People were already having to have 2 and 3 jobs. All right. When I was a young child, the average people, you know what I'm saying, had to have just one job. You work one job 40 hours a week. When things got hard, you worked some overtime, but really you only had one job at that point in time. Nowadays, you have to have 2 jobs, and you and your spouse have to have 2 jobs, and then, a little side hustle. Now, most people have to have 2 jobs, and they have to have them a little side hustle and everything else like that. So, hey, it's a show on the economy itself. All right. It says for 4 years, from 2016 to 2022, the index grew by less than 7 points, but increased by a whopping 27 points, from 98.1 to 125.7 in 2020 through 2021. After the second year of the pandemic, the index stood at 141.1. Since Russian military operation began, the index has risen by a further 17 points. Swings like that with such huge increase in prices are not happening due to one reason. It's always a combination of a number of reasons which leads to such results, Orshkin, Russian economic development minister from 2016 to 2020, said. It says he points to Americans' overreaction to the pandemic as one of the first major factors that triggered the food price hikes. Since 2020, the U.S. increased money supply by almost 40%, he said, adding that $6 trillion that the $6 trillion the U.S. printed to support its economy ended up flooding global markets and led to the rise in food, commodity, and energy prices. And that's another thing that most of these Americans, again, they don't understand economics and things like that. They don't understand the fact that, they're all happy for, oh, let's get stimulus checks, let's just print some more money, let us just do these things. And, they happy when Congress just prints money and sends all, like, yo, y'all realize y'all are paying for that, a lot more. It's just like, in layman's terms, you go into a Amscot to get a payday advance. Like, yeah, you can go get $100, no problem. But that $100 is going to cost you more than just $100, man. So, for anybody thinking, oh shit, I'm broke right now, let me just go get this $100. Like, it'd be better for you to go get a job and to go make that $100 or go do some type of side work to make that $100 rather than going to get a payday advance, because that $100, when you have to go pay it back, it may be $125, $150, or maybe $200 when you have to pay it back. So it's costing you more money than what you're actually getting. So it's like they're letting you get $100, but you owe more than that money back. So it's costing you more than what you're actually receiving. All right. Europe's over-reliance on renewable energy withdrew resources from the food production on short-term gas contracts that led to gas price hikes in late 2021 are also significant factors. That's a little bit more this, but I just wanted to, let me read this last paragraph. It says he also pointed that global food inequality is the root cause. In reality, there is enough food on the planet, but developed nations such as the U.S. are simply consuming much more food than other countries. He added that people in the U.S. consume on average more than 50% calories per day more than people around the world. They're printing money, they're taking all the food, and of course, they're taking all the food from those who cannot afford it. He added, if countries like the United States consume less, there would be enough food for everyone. So now, hey, these people are starting to look at America. It's like, hey, man, this is the issue on the earth, man. This is that one nation that's consuming every damn thing. This is the nation that's starting everything. This is the nation that's the thorn in everybody's side, man. So now these nations are starting to look at America. But hey, again, like I said, this is all pushing towards, that time frame to where, you're going to have that great temptation, man. All right, they're trying to move towards their new system, their new world order system, and this is what's going to happen. All right. So let's start here in 2nd Ezra 16. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils which shall do, and these evils shall come. This is the time that we're coming into, where it's not just wars, but, you have a lot of different things on the face of the earth that's contributing to the downturn of, a global economic state, which is putting people into this here tight bond, all right, which is putting people in between, like they say, a rock and a hard place, to bring them into that submission position to do what? To take their chip. All right, you got us. So now what? What do we got to do to be able to survive? All right. Let's continue on. It says, but behold, famine and plagues and tribulations are sin and scourges for an amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. So, hey, we're looking at a point to where these things were made for corrections, but you see what the actions of the people on the earth is doing. They're doubling down on their wickedness. Like I always say, in a time like when the pandemic came and everybody was supposed to sit still and sit silent and, hear what the Lord was saying unto them, what a lot of these women became whores and prostitutes on the internet. All right. A lot of these guys became scammers, boosters, more and more criminalized, man. All right. More and more wickedness then spread throughout the whole globe, throughout all these things, man. All right. But, instead of people, repenting and turning to the Lord, what did they wind up doing, man? They doubled down on their wickedness, man. So as you see, these things are starting to, the love of many is waxing cold. People are, more and more people are becoming more and more wicked as the days go by. They're not turning from their wickedness. Most people have that ideology in their mind. Well, in the end of the days, we would know that the Lord was coming and everything else like that. We would just get right. We would just, before the Lord come, we would just all start getting right and everything. Nah, man, before the Lord come, like the scriptures say, it would be a great tribulation since there was a nation on the earth, even to that same time, roughly paraphrasing, meaning that things would get worse and worse and worse and worse. So, hey, as all these things are starting to come upon the earth, people aren't really mindful of these things and they're not really mindful of the signs. But, hey, this is all bringing you into that one point and that one time for them to set up their new world order system. Let me go and grab that real quick. As a matter of fact, I wanted to just touch on that. Job 5:12, it says, he disappointed the device of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right. Because ultimately, this is what Esau is trying to do, is set up his new world order system. All right. He's trying to get this here system in place. Hang on one second. Job 20:22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fear of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. All right, let me grab one more precept. Yeah, Isaiah 14:4 says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased and the golden city ceased? All right, so hey, let me keep reading. Verse 5, the Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruleth the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. So hey, going into these times that we're living in right now, there's a great economic turn down on the planet Earth. All right, you're starting to see, jump down to verse 16. It says, they that see thee shall nearly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness, and that destroyed the cities thereof, and that opened out the house of his prisoners? So now these nations are starting to look at America and like, hey, man, you're the issue on the earth, man. We're all in this here bond because of you. All right, you're the one going around waging war on the whole, planet Earth. All right, you're the one that's creating economic upheaval. All right, but hey, Esau's doing this because why? He knows he has but a short time. All right, he's doing all these things because why? He's trying to implement his new world order system. But like the scriptures say, the Most High, is going to disrupt his plans, man. He's going to rain it upon him while he is eating, meaning he's going to flee from the iron weapon, which is those ICBM missiles, which means in the middle of what? World War III. So now these nations are starting to look at America and sizing her up like, look, man, enough is enough. All right, all these things are coming to pass to do what? To mark the end of Esau's rulership, the end of Esau's reign. All right. This is the times that we're living in where there's what? Lamentations, mourning, and woe. All right. These are the things that's coming upon. These are the things that are upon the earth, man. All right. Most people think that there's going to be, or not most people, but most of these Christians believe that there's going to be a pre-tribulation rapture. But, I'd love to have a conversation with them right about now and ask them, if they still believe that or not, man. If they still believe all the things their pastors have been telling them, because look, they've been going to church for so long. They've been telling them about prosperity and all these different things. Well, I want to know what the hell they've been teaching them in these churches these last couple of years, because, if you have the eyes to see, you would see all these things going on. Hell, even if you don't have the understanding of what's really going on, something is wrong out here, man. All right. When you go to the grocery store, you can't be that goddamn blind and realize that you're spending up more money on this here little bit of food, man. When you at the gas pump, it's costing you more money at the gas pump. When you trying to go get rent, some shit might be $1,300, but you got to qualify 3, 4, 5 times over that, man. People have to understand that this is the end all be all, man. All right, you can't afford to even breathe out here in this bad boy because Esau's coming down with that great oppression, man. All right, this is the end all be all, but hey, this is how it would be. Let me grab I was gonna grab where's that other precept? I slipped my mind. Let me just go ahead and grab this. We'll end off with this. But hey, this is ultimately oh, wait a minute. This is ultimately, the time that we're coming into, man. All right. Well, let me go ahead and grab this and we'll go back to that. All right. Revelation 13:16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And we constantly go into this all the time about, what the MOTB is. But you see, like in places like, where is it? Iran. All right, where they have that digital voucher that they're trying to push, man. All right, to get so-called discounted bread. All right, to kind of curb this here scenario that's going on with the rise in food cost and things like that, man. Look at China with their social credit system and things like that, man. All right, you see that they're still pushing for these digital passports and things like that, man. So it's only a matter of time before this is being, pushed throughout the earth. Right about now, you're seeing these things as far as a a plan B, an option, or if you want to do this, if you want to do that, you can, just like how you go to some of these theme parks, right? And then if you want to ride the ride, you must stand in line to get into this here line. But however, they have these other little situations like, well, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But if you want to so-called secure you a position in one of these lines, or skip the line, or, have a placeholder in line, you can go get in this other line and maybe pay a little extra or whatever, to go get into this other line to where you can kind of, it's like a VIP line. you're not required to get in this line of Rod the Rod, but if you want to, kind of get it at quote unquote a discounted price, you may have to pay more or something like that. But making an analogy here, you can come get in this here line. This isn't a line you must, but it's something that if you want to, you can. All right, but hey, sooner or later, everything's gonna be like that actual mandatory line because if you've ever been to a theme park, if you want to get on any ride, you have to get into a line to get into that line, man. All right, to get on that ride. So it's the same way here, man. All right, if you want to buying and selling, first they're gonna do it for a so-called discounted price. All right, for you to be able to skip the line, for you to be able to make things not mandatory, for you to be able to get in line for certain of these things when things are scarce. Hey, if you want to secure a position, go ahead and sign up for these here things, man. All right, you can kind of skip the line. You can kind of make sure that you have you a placeholder, but sooner or later, you're gonna need this to be able to make things pop off. All right, so let's close out with this real quick in Revelation 3. It says, because thou hast also kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. All right. And so going into these things here, ultimately, I got the other precept now. Going into these things, you as you see now, things is coming into that tight squeeze. So if you're thinking, people thought that when the pandemic happened and everything was shutting down and everything else like that, oh, well, what was it, 2020 or 2021? The next year after that, basically, they would say, oh, this is the year to bounce back. We're going to bounce back and things going to get back better and everything. But, hey, look at things now. It got 1,000 times worse. All right. So, hey, people may have in their mindset that, oh, this is just a time frame being and everything else. Like the things are going to go back to normal. We're going to just wait it out until things go back to normal. But guess what? Things aren't going back to normal. In order for things to so-called seem like a normal run again, it's for you to do what? Take this MOTB, man. Hey, you want prices to go back down to affordable prices? You want $3.90 a gallon gas again? Go ahead and take this here chip, man. You want to go see regular grocery store price? Go ahead and take this here chip. You want to be able to get housing and stuff like that, and not have to qualify 3, 4, 5 times over? Go ahead and take this here chip, man. All right, hey, you got a lot of people that already didn't quit their damn jobs and things like that, so they don't really qualify for shit. So hey, it's a hard time out here for these people, man. All right. Okay, yeah, it slipped my mind, but I got to call hello. Yeah, about you, man, shy. This is Job 5:19. It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. So, hey, the Lord's elect, he's going to protect in these times, man. The Lord's going to watch over his elect, man. All right, he's going to deliver them, make a way for them. All right, but the rest of these people are going to be, they don't have the faith, they don't believe in the Lord and things like that. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to fold. They're going to wind up taking that their chip. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this your lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, great millstone that taught us this truth and I rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity over the 4 corners of the earth and enduring afflictions, defeat and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.